Loudly Made by Apes.
Episode 1.
Featuring Ernest and his Combat Motors. With host Aaron Haber.
Well, hey there. This is Aaron Haber, and I am live on the Dixo Network. So many jokes, a little time. I want to thank Danny and Dixo for having me on today, and it's my absolute pleasure to be interviewing a good friend, a good ape, and a pretty all-around remarkable guy, Mr. Ernest Lee from Combat Motors. Ernest Lee, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great, Aaron. I'm doing wonderful. If I was doing any better, it'd be illegal.
Oh, okay. Well, then don't do any better. We don't want to get in trouble. So, Ernest, I've known you for a little while now. You're fresh on the scene of Bored Ape Yacht Club for the past like 6 months or so. When did you actually get into Bored Ape Yacht Club?
Yeah, about 6 months ago, I started using my ape for the marketing of Combat Motors, and then also my tax practice, the ape over my shoulder here, I use for my tax practice, Decrypted Tax.
Right, Decrypted Tax, which, full disclosure, my company, Laughing Ape, and Decrypted Tax are working together, which I'm very, very happy about. Before we get into Combat Motors, let's just talk for a second about you. You are an accountant, a lawyer, you own a motorcycle company. Why not astronaut? Why did you fail at the astronaut program?
Well, I'm limited in what I can do during the day, Aaron. That's really what it's about. So I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney for 20 some odd years. I previously worked at Deloitte in London doing taxes, and I started my own tax practice in 2005. At first, we did a lot of taxes for private equity businesses. And then we moved into individuals in 2012. And then we started doing crypto taxes. And well, we did them in 2013. My first crypto client was a kid who was mining Bitcoin in his basement in 2013. And I told one of my guys, Lincoln, I'm like, I don't know what kind of trading cards this kid's doing, but you just got to figure it out because he's making a bunch of money doing it. And so year over year, we started having more and more crypto clients. And in 2020, we spun it off into Decrypted Tax, doing taxes for people in crypto. But in 2017, I bought a motorcycle from the old company. And 2018, I bought the company and rebranded as Combat Motors. We built some pretty interesting motorcycles. They're CNC aluminum, 6061 aircraft grade aluminum with American V-twin engines.
That's amazing. I've seen the motorcycles first of all, I've been to your business. I've been to the motorcycle headquarters, the combat headquarters, and the bikes are beautiful. I think I told you that it looks like something that Batman would ride. They're works of art. I am a scaredy cat. I will never get on a motorcycle, but if I was going to get on one, it would definitely be combat. And so you rebranded. Just wanted to put your own spin on it?
I did. So the company had been around since the early 90s. And in the early 90s, they were Confederate motorcycles. And that worked for them for the time that they did it. But it didn't work for me. And so I'm retired military myself. I was injured in the early 90s in Army infantry. And I decided that Combat Motors would work a little bit better. It also worked that the company had been making combat motorcycles for quite a while. They had named some of their models the Hellcat Combat or the Fighter Combat. And so Google algorithms were able to digest that pretty well, and the transition was pretty easy.
That's great. Although, I mean, you're really missing out on a certain market, that you're not Confederate motors anymore. I mean,
yeah, not so much.
It is driven right up on January 6th and sold a whole bunch of motorcycles. It would have been fantastic. Just saying marketing, we're going to have another January 6th in 2025. So just saying, you can have a division, yeehaw, you ride up and you've got the flag. And
no. The only place that we have sold Confederate motorcycles since me starting is we sold some to Mexico. We sold a bike to Mexico. The gentleman said, we sent him the renderings, and he said, well, why does it say Combat? And I'm like, well, that's the name of the company. He goes, well, I wanted it to say Confederate. You write the check. It'll say whatever you want it to say. And then in Russia, we sell bikes into Russia, and Confederate to them is a whole different thing. It's their break off from the USSR. And so those bikes were really popular in Russia. We sell about 30% of our bikes to Russia. We sell 30% of our bikes internationally. Russia, China, the Ukraine before all this mess, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Qatar, we get out there. The new bike that we're building, we're going to have international distribution. We're looking at Australia, Europe. European homologation is difficult, but we're getting there. And so that's one of the things that I bring to the table with the company, is that I'm able to parse those rules. The EU rules are it's the beginning of something like the Roman Empire was. There's so many rules that it takes so much red tape to get something done. But we get there.
So how do you get from being an attorney accountant,
Yeah.
which sounds like something like you're a Barbie doll, like you just have a closet full of occupations, but how do you get from there to a motorcycle company owner?
Well, like I said, I bought a motorcycle first. And so I bought a combat fighter from the old company. Here we go. So I had broken a leg. I was working in rodeo, and I was there you go. I was picking up bucking horses, and a bucking horse kicked me in my right leg and broke my right shin. And so as a result, I was in a wheelchair for about 3 months. And so as a reward for getting out of the wheelchair, I wanted to get myself something so I could get out and about. And I bought myself a motorcycle. And so the company had some cash flow issues, and I helped them out. My investment fund, we do some hard money lending, inventory finance. And so I was doing inventory finance for them. And then I helped them in their transition. They transitioned from Confederate motorcycles over to Curtiss motorcycle, and they do electric motorcycles. And I'd helped them with that transition, taking some shares in the company. In exchange for my shares, I traded my shares for the gas division, the Combat Motors, what became Combat Motors.
That's amazing. And so I wanted to ask you, when you were working rodeo, was that for the attorney side or the accountant side?
The actually both. I did it as a hobby, and then I transitioned into picking up. So the pickup man's the guy that rides in the middle of the arena and grabs the guys off the bucking horses. And then during the entire event, all the different events, he's moving the stock. He's on horseback moving the stock, he or she. And so it was a fun thing. I traveled on the road for 2.5, 3 years, going from rodeo to rodeo and doing taxes from my horse trailer. And so it was a great experience. But in 2012, I bought a ranch in Florida, and I kind of settled in. So I started growing rodeotax.com. That was the tax practice. And it grew to what it is today, a little over 600 clients that are all involved in rodeo.
So you did your first crypto tax return or helped with it in 2013, which is unbelievable. When did you first buy crypto?
So,
or can you say, had the statute of limitations run out? Can you say it yet?
In 2016, my landscaper approached me and told me, you do investments. And so I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you should invest in Bitcoin. And I'm like, what? What is that? I had no idea. And so I did a little deep dive. I didn't dive deep at all. I did a shallow dive into crypto and decided it was too risky in 2016. In 2020, we had about 30 clients that we were doing that had crypto in their tax return. And I realized they were making a bunch of money, and I was reviewing their tax returns. And so I got to see how they make money. That's one of the advantages of being the tax guy. And so in 2020, I think it was 2019 or 2020, I opened up a Coinbase account and I started trading. And then probably about October of 2020, I went pretty deep into crypto, and all been great since then. I've in that bull run, I did about a 5x on a large account, and this time I'm at about a 3x so far on an even larger account. So I'm loving it.
So
got into NFTs in 2023. Really should have gotten in earlier. It's one of those things,
or later.
Or later, right? Yeah. Or later. And I trade NFTs now, back and forth. I trade crypto. I probably spend about a third of my time trading crypto.
Yeah. I was going to say, you've gone from a guy that was like, I don't know about crypto, to a guy that has like a live physical ticker in back of you on
I
your
do.
wall.
Yeah.
And if people don't hear it, it's like an old school like, and you have like the live prices of certain coins up there.
I do. The company that makes that is Vestaboard. They're wonderful. I ordered the Vestaboard, and when I got it, it only updated every 10 minutes. And so I emailed the guys, and I'm like, listen, I wanted a ticker. I wanted it to update constantly. And so they actually, in 24 hours, they did a change to their software and pushed it down to everyone so that you could select every 60 seconds. And
Wow.
so my little ticker updates every 60 seconds.
That's amazing. I would get one, but there's no point in just watching a zero all the time. Just what's the point of that? And so you got into Bored Ape Yacht Club, and so you bought an ape, but when did you start to really become part of the community?
Yeah, so I started to become part of the community in April of this year. I bought an ape. I had a different ape. It wasn't my forever ape. I traded for. I sold that ape and at a profit actually earlier this year, and then I traded into my forever ape, which is the one over my shoulder here. And then I got another one for Combat Motors. It'd probably be in May of this year. I got the one for Combat Motors. We got MBA licenses for both Combat Motors and Decrypted in May of this year. And I've been very active. As you know, we ran together on a against each other in the ApeCoin DAO special counsel election. And that's how you and I met. And yeah, it's been great. The community is wonderful. I mean, the community is I mean, it's cheesy to say, but it's just such a joy. I mean, there are people that are in the community that are just, they just want to help you out, help you with your business. And I like that because that's how I am. I try to be very helpful. I like to tell people, give me a call, schedule a call. I'll do a video conference right here, just like this. And, if I can help you out, I'm happy to help out any way that I can.
That's right. And that's sort of what you were famous for when you ran, was just saying, hey, I'm open and come and talk with me. And for people that don't know, yes, we were running against each other, but literally the last second, Ernest flipped his votes to me, which was unbelievable and allowed me to get into the second round. So again, thank you 100 times. Very, very nice of you. And we were both in Vegas hanging out at the Journey Club that night. So really got to talk and hit it off even more so. And I've had the pleasure of hanging out with you, 4 or 5 times now.
Yep.
Which is pretty remarkable.
I was, Aaron, I was winning by, I think I was winning by about 400,000 ape, and I had about 800,000 ape that I was voting myself. And I felt like I was putting my thumb on the scale, and you had been with the community for a lot longer than I had. I had asked, actually, I was getting a lot of good information from you. You were really helping me understand the community and learn about the community. And I just thought at the last minute, I really thought that you could do a better job than I could right then. And so I flipped my vote. But I also, like you said, I reached out to you and said, hey, I want to be part of the communities no matter what. I want to help people out. I want to help these AIP authors out with their businesses. I want to help MBA licensees out with their businesses. And so it's been great. I regularly take calls from AIP authors, MBA licensees. We go over their business model. I help them form LLCs or partnerships. And, we get them all in compliance with both legal and tax. And yeah, it's really great.
You're a great dude, and you're an amazing part of the community, and I'm happy to call you a friend. Full disclosure, I am Ernest's friend. So we have to talk about your MBA for Combat Motors.
Yep.
And so why did you want? You've already got this great motorcycle company, and now you have an ape that you've associated with Combat Motors, and then you went the step to get an MBA. I guess the question is, why?
So I wanted to personalize the company from a marketing perspective. I I just wanted to make it less. The logo is great. We have our C logo and Combat Motors written out. Those are great, and the bikes are great for the marketing and everything. But I just wanted to personalize it some, and giving it an ape made it not so serious. I mean, motorcycles are serious business. I mean, they're big engines underneath you, driving at high speeds. It's very masculine. But we're looking for a little bit different target market. And so we have a new bike coming out. The new Hellcat is coming out later this year. And I really wanted to hit different target demographics with Combat Motors. I want to have more women riders riding our motorcycles. And I wanted to just show people that, hey, me as the owner of Combat Motors, I'm not always, just completely serious about things. I like to joke around. I like to have fun. Even though my ape, as you can see over my shoulder here, he's very angry. He's got those angry eyes going. That's part of the thing. It's just like I equate it to Progressive Insurance has their insurance company, and they have different characters. They have the Neanderthal man. Sometimes used, and that's kind of joking, having fun. But they also have the Geico has the gecko. He's just kind of a character, and people remember characters. They don't necessarily remember logos. And so having my ape, my combat ape that has the Vietnam jacket and the helmet, the policeman's helmet, it really fit with the company. And so yeah, I got the ape, I got the MBA license. It's been wonderful.
And what advice do you have for people that either have MBAs or want to get an MBA as to how to best utilize it? I mean, Yuga is sort of just starting the process, I think, of really trying to help out MBAs. They're doing a lot for MBAs in Lisbon. They've just started a monthly seminar in the Discord. So, have you found it helpful yet? And what advice would you give for other MBA holders?
Yeah, so MBA holders need to think about their branding. They think about what they're selling, who their target market is. They obviously, putting an ape on coffee or a wine or chocolate bar. Those are wonderful things for the apes. It's wonderful things for your product. It personalizes your product. It gets something that someone's going to remember. And so I think that there's a lot of room for growth in the licensing side of the apes. I actually am drafting a license for an ape holder that he's got his forever ape. He doesn't want to sell it, but I had someone else that approached me and asked me to help them find an ape for their business. And so, and he had the perfect ape for that person's business. And I'm writing a license agreement right now. We worked out a deal earlier this week that he's licensing his ape to that business for their use. We'll get an MBA for him for that purpose, and he's able to monetize his ape. I mean, he's going to bring in annual revenue on his ape because it is what it is. And so I think there's a lot of room for that. I'm looking forward. This is my test, and I'm looking forward to growing that. So if anybody is interested in licensing their ape, reach out to cryptid.tax, schedule a call. I'm actually putting together a list of individuals that are interested in licensing their ape and businesses that are interested in having a new logo or a new character.
I am interested in licensing my ape. Add me to the list. And by the way, I want to say, without giving anything away, that the licensing deal you're talking about started happening at Fuck It Friday.
It did.
It was a conversation at a table before Fuck It Friday started. I was there as well, and it just organically happened. But the point is that's why Bored Ape Yacht Club is so great. Your net worth is your net worth. Like, this isn't some magical thing that happened. Well, it was a magical thing that happened out of thin air. But I think when apes hear, oh, somebody made a licensing deal, they think, well, that must have been very complicated and, this and that. But it really was a conversation that happened casually over a table waiting for Fuck It Friday to start.
That's right. Yeah. It was a friend of mine who I've been a good friend for a number of years, who had invited to the event. He had never been to the event. He saw what I was doing with my ape. He saw what other people were doing with theirs. He's a promoter for another business, and that other business was interested. He was literally texting the other business while we were sitting there and showing him pictures of the apes and what we could do. And it all just kind of came together.
We were showing him the trait of the apes, like on our phones right there, saying like, look how well this matches your
brand.
business.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he wanted me to buy the ape. And when I approached the owner, he said, "No, I'm never selling my ape." He said, "I'll sell it 100 each. And that'd be his price." And I said, "Well, that's kind of out of the price range when someone's looking to potentially do something with an ape. They don't know how it's going to work. They don't know if it's going to really have legs with their business." And so we were able to figure out a licensing deal. And the licensing deal is great for the buyer because they're able to get their feet wet and use the IP. And it's great for the person that owns the ape because it's instant income out of thin air.
It's great. And it was a great conversation. So with Combat Motors, I'm sure you have, but would you create a Bored Ape cycle?
We're in the process of creating a Hellcat that will have Bored Ape characteristics. Right. It'll have, there are limitations what we can do, but yeah, we're in the process.
Like if you've ever seen Dr. Bombay's ice cream in the grocery store, it does not have his ape on it, but it does have the cheetah fur on the top.
Right.
So what I'm saying is cover your bikes in ice cream cartons.
I'm looking forward to building my Hellcat, and basically my Hellcat will be completely aped out.
That's going to be amazing. Okay, so you've got 2 MBAs, Decrypted Tax and Combat Motors. What else should we know about? I mean, this is all about Combat Motors today.
Yep.
What should we know about Combat Motors that we haven't already learned?
Well, Combat Motors, we build these really interesting motorcycles. Yes, they're high-end motorcycles, but they're made here in the U.S. and expensive to build here in the U.S. We give a 2-year warranty on the new Hellcat. That's up from 1 year. That's what we had been doing is the 1-year warranty. We moved it to 2, which was just a matter of shuffling poker chips around to make it work on the finances. But it's a 2-year warranty. They're built to spec. We have a Wraith. We have one more Wraith that is available right now. That's being built. It will be ready probably in about 2 months. It'll be ready for delivery. They take some time. The time that these take isn't a matter of actually putting it together. If I had all the parts in one place, I could put it together pretty quickly. But we're changing that with the Hellcat. The Hellcat will be a pre-manufactured motorcycle where we're building them to spec and having them immediately available for delivery. We deliver worldwide. We deliver here in the U.S. with our own van, and we deliver internationally through common carrier. They're either shipped or flown to their destination. I prefer flown because it doesn't have the exposure to the seawater, and we deliver them all over the world.
When you're flying bikes across the ocean, you hope that they won't have any interaction with the seawater.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
The bikes are absolutely magnificent. Again, I've seen them in person, and they are like nothing that you've seen. I mean, they are absolute conversation starters. They're absolute. They're just statement pieces.
I found out when we were in LA, I found out another distinct advantage to owning this motorcycle. So I pulled up to the Rainbow Room. Sign says parking full. The valet parking was full. He grabbed the cone, moved it aside, and let me park right behind the Ferrari, right in front of the valet stand. No problem. I can park at any valet stand in LA without a problem. I did it all weekend long. You just pull up on that motorcycle, and they just want it to sit right out front. And so there's another added advantage.
Yeah. No, I mean, they should be paying you to put it out front.
Yeah.
They really are really beautiful. Where can people find more information about Combat Motors?
So you can go on the website, combatmotors.com. You can email me, Ernest at combat.net. You can call 8555-COMBAT, and you'll get in touch with Jay, and he's our brand ambassador who handles all of our sales. And so that's the other thing you have with our company is when you call initially and you talk to Jay is also the person that walks you through the process of selecting which bike you want, how you want it. If you want any customization, he goes through that process. And then Jay is your point of contact the entire way through, and he delivers the motorcycles here in the U.S.
It's great. And just for people that are listening, it's Combat with a C. It's not a fancy, crazy.
No.
Everything in our industry is like, it's PRT, but it's pronounced combat. No,
No,
it's with a C, COMBAT.
that's right.
If you can't spell, ask a friend, and they will point you to it. Last question for you: who does the taxes for Combat Motors?
Yeah, that's Ernest Lee at decrypted.tax. Does the taxes. He's a great guy. I just can't say enough nice things about that guy.
He has cool shirts too.
Yeah,
Well, Ernest Lee, I mean, you are the owner of Combat Motors, of Decrypted Tax, doing actual. And listen, if you're somebody that is trying to do taxes with a normal accountant, your crypto taxes, you know that you want to get somebody that actually knows crypto. So that is a great service that you're offering. And a great member of Board Ape Yacht Club, a two-time MBA holder, and just an all-around great guy. I wanted to thank you for coming on and speaking with us. I wanted to thank Danny and Dixo for having us on, and looking forward to many more shows with Danny and Dixo. And Ernest, looking forward to many years of friendships, motorcycles, and taxes.
absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Goodbye, everybody.
Powered by Dixo.